Being with us, I'm Shonda Lee.
And I'm Downing Bowles. This is 9 News Night Beat. Testimony got underway today in the trial of former TV weatherman Bill Chaney. He's standing trial for charges of indecent conduct with a minor last June.
Courtroom drama began early when DA Jack Willingham called Chaney a 58-year-old bachelor with, quote, a hankering for young children. James Duran has more.
Chaney's attorney, Ed Painter, lashed out, saying this statement was totally outrageous. Throughout the day, 4 witnesses were put on the stand, including the boy's mother, who described her son as mentally challenged. The 14-year-old plaintiff took the stand shortly after lunch. Apparently nervous, he described his second camping trip with Chaney, in which they skinny dipped and had conversations regarding oral sex. And he recalled seeing Chaney's erect private part. Later in the day, Chaney got to tell his side of the story. He said it is physically impossible to achieve an erection due to medical reasons, and it was the boy's idea to go skinny dipping. The 14-year-old admitted this on the stand. Under cross-examination, Painter revealed inconsistencies in the boy's account of Chaney touching his breasts. When asked what breasts were, the boy said, "I don't know." The DA then spent much of the afternoon hammering away at what he feels was improper police procedure used on Chaney when the case first broke. The trial continues tomorrow. James Duran, 9 News Night Beat.
Well, another news tonight. In a day his defense team laid the framework for its case. O.J. Simpson also faced the jury today, bending down to show them and...
News Tab's Janice Cochran was in Anson all day and has this report on today's testimony in the trial of Bill Chaney.
Both the accuser and the accused took the stand in 259th District Court today as they painted their pictures of what happened on a camping trip to North Anson Lake last June 4th. The 14-year-old learning disabled boy says after he asked Chaney to skinny dip with him in the lake, the 58-year-old weatherman became aroused. The boy also accused Chaney of discussing sex with him and of touching his breast during the night. However, under cross-examination, the boy admitted he didn't know what a breast was. Late in the day, when Chaney took the stand, he categorically denied any sexual talk, activity, or arousal took place at any time, saying a prior medical condition made such a state impossible for him. After the youth referred to scars he allegedly saw on Chaney's body, defense attorney Ed Painter introduced pictures of Chaney's torso, which District Attorney Jack Willingham objected to. Painter then ordered his client to take off his shirt, and Willingham roared, "Make him take his pants off." Judge Quay Parker then restored order to the courtroom. Prosecution cross-examination of Chaney is scheduled for the first thing in the morning. Janice Cochran, News Tab.
Police say the best way to fight crime in North Abilene is to clean up the neighborhoods. At a news conference today, Chief Melvin Martin announced a plan to make those neighborhoods a nicer place to live.
And Paula Rowland with weather. This is First News 12.
Good morning. Cloudy and drizzle across parts of the big country for this Thursday morning. It's 6:30, and thanks for joining us for First News 12. The rain we need is finally here, and it'll probably be with us for most of the day. For a quick look at the weather as you wake up, we go to Paula Rowland. Good morning, Paula.
Good morning, Kyle. We're finally starting to see some moisture in the air, and that's good news for us. We've got some light drizzle in the area and some fog. Cloudy skies across most of the Lone Star State for this morning. We are seeing quite a bit of rain and drizzle along the Texas coastline, northern sections of the state, and we are seeing some fog in the central portions. More rain showers continue to move in from the west and southwest of us. Northern Mexico. We do have some fog in the area around Waco and extends all the way through the big country area of Abilene. Our visibility at the airport this morning is at 3 miles. Currently outside it is drizzling. A little bit of fog out there, 51 degrees, 100% relative humidity. Winds are out of the southeast at 14. Our barometer is at 30.01, and it is falling. We'll have your first forecast coming up in a matter of minutes.
That's right. We do have a good chance of rain today. A few of those could be severe.
Yes.
We'll talk about that in a bit. All right. Thanks, Paula. As with most trials, the high-profile child molestation trial of longtime weatherman Bill Chaney has become a war of words. Chaney is on trial for indecency with a child in an alleged encounter last June. Chaney's defense attorney has accused the state of conducting, quote, a trial by ambush But the district attorney contends that Chaney has, quote, a hankering for young kids. Chris Davis-Jones reports from Jones County.
This young boy says Bill Chaney touched his chest and rubbed his stomach during a camping trip last June. The boy also accuses Chaney of talking about oral sex on the ride to and from the North Anson Lake. Late in the afternoon, it was Chaney's turn. He emphatically denied allegations by the boy that he had had an erection during the alleged encounter. Chaney testified what the boy described was medically impossible. The longtime weathercaster also insisted he never discussed sex with the child. The teen had also described scars on the accused's body when Chaney allegedly exposed himself to the boy. That testimony prompted defense attorney Ed Painter to introduce 2 photographs showing Chaney's bare torso in hopes of disproving the teen's description. The district attorney objected, saying the person in the photos couldn't be identified, at which point Painter told his client to disrobe. Judge Quay Parker intervened, allowing the photos as evidence.
And we're having some problems with that story. That was Chris Davis-Jones reporting from Jones County. The day's biggest legal battle came over the lake keeper's testimony. The district attorney wanted the jury to hear about another time Chaney allegedly brought 2 small children to the lake and referred to them as his children, but the judge would not allow that testimony. The district attorney is expected to cross-examine Chaney this morning. And a change of venue has been requested in the trial of a 17-year-old accused of killing a Texas trooper. Levy Edmondson Jr. allegedly shot Trooper Troy Hogue December 30th.
9 News Night Beat.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. I'm Downing Bowles.
And I'm Shonda Lee. It's been a long and hard-fought battle, but tonight saw success on the House floor for the balanced budget amendment. Cindy Gilmore has the latest from Capitol.
More than ever.
Ed Painter lost his fight to keep the jury from finding out about another camping trip involving Chaney and 2 young children. James Duran was at the trial and files this report.
District Attorney Jack Willingham won the first battle of the day. He claimed a prior camping trip weekend involving Chaney and 2 children provides motive and intent. Painter maintained the evidence proves nothing but an attempt by the DA to prejudice the jury against Chaney. A worker at the lake testified Chaney introduced the boy and girl as his children. Chaney denied ever saying this. True to form, Willingham wasted no time attacking Chaney's character. He frequently raised his voice when referring to him as the 58-year-old bachelor with no children. Painter fired back, saying this isn't a crime. And then came the charges of Chaney hiding a teenaged runaway girl in his house in the early 80s. Painter tried to discredit the testimony of Doug Worthington, who made these claims. The witness remembered meeting Chaney at Chaney's home and years later at choir practice, but not much else. Chaney denied ever meeting the Human Services counselor. In all, 6 witnesses testified, including 2 of the plaintiff's neighbors. They claim the 13-year-old told them about skinny dipping with Chaney and the conversations of oral sex. But only one of the witnesses provided the jury with a different portrait of Chaney. 21-year-old Josh Raines has been a friend of Chaney's for 8 years. He claimed Bill Chaney is a role model who saved him from a broken home. When asked by the DA if there was ever any sexual foul play involved in their relationship, he said, absolutely not. After hearing the testimonies of 6 witnesses today, the jury was released early. 1, possibly 2 more witnesses are expected to take the stand tomorrow. Closing arguments should begin shortly after. From the Jones County Courthouse, I'm James Duran, 9 News Night Beat.
Judge Lancito has put the
based on what he wishes he could prove, but cannot. Painter also called a former little brother of Chaney's in the Big Brothers program. 21-year-old Josh Raines called Chaney a loving and caring man and emphatically denied any improprieties during their 8-year friendship. 1 or 2 more witnesses are scheduled before the jury is likely to begin their deliberations tomorrow. Janice Cochran, News Tab.
Judge Lance Ito says the O.J. Simpson defense can resume its opening statement Monday morning. The court went back into session around 5:30 Texas time.
Landowners' rights, and David Counts of Knox City will be the chair of the Natural Resources and a member of the Insurance Committee. Testimony in the Bill Chaney trial enters day 3 today. The longtime television weatherman is being painted by the prosecution as a man who allegedly touched and exposed himself to a young boy during a camping trip last June. But the defense is painting a different picture, one of a caring role model for young people. And as Chris Davis-Jones reports, members of one side Thursday won a hard-fought battle to get their version considered.
This man claims he found a runaway girl hiding out in the same house with Bill Chaney some 11 years ago. Doug Worthington is the president of Harmony Family Services. His testimony was first heard outside the presence of the jury. Worthington says he and a police officer went to a house in Abilene's South 3rd area and discovered a runaway girl. Worthington told the court a bare-chested Chaney answered the door. Defense attorney Ed Painter asked Worthington if the man at the door had scars. Worthington said no. Painter showed him photographs, asking him if he would remember such prominent scars. Worthington said yes. That's when the lawyer had Chaney raise his shirt, displaying his scarred torso. Worthington insisted, although he didn't remember the scars, he was sure Bill Chaney was the man he spoke to. The topic of scars was again dramatically raised when this neighbor of Chaney's testified. The woman says the alleged victim told her Chaney slept nude and kept hugging him during the camping trip. She also told the jury the child said Chaney had a scar by his groin. Painter asked her if the boy told her about any other scars and showed her the photographs of Chaney's torso.
District Attorney Jack Willingham objected loudly, saying Painter isn't showing her Chaney's groin. Painter offered to let the jury look for themselves. Willingham suggested Texas Ranger Calvin Cox do the viewing. Painter agreed. The judge let the trial continue. The topic was never discussed again.
The Jones County jury also heard from 2 young men, both of whom have spent time in Chaney's home. This small boy accuses Chaney of shaking a hot dog near his groin while cooking. However, during cross-examination, the child admitted Chaney never said anything while allegedly doing that. Last on the stand was this 21-year-old, a former companion of Chaney's in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. Josh Raines told the jury Chaney never acted improperly and was in fact a good role model. Now it's up to jurors to decide which version of Chaney's character to accept. Chris Davis-Jones, K-Texas News 12.
And another former participant in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program is expected to testify today. State transportation officials say improvements to Buffalo Gap Road are not necessarily a final solution, but the most economical at this time. At Thursday's City Council meeting, they presented their project, which includes restructuring pavement and adding 2 lanes.
Abilene, KACV-TV San Angelo. Live from the Channel 9 Telecommunications Center for the Big Country and Concho Valley, this is 9 News at 5.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for being with us this afternoon. I'm Downing Bowles.
And I'm Shonda Lee. This is 9 News. More testimony today in the Bill Chaney trial, and jurors are getting 2 widely different views about the embattled weatherman.
Chaney is on trial for indecency with a child, and today heard from a former co-worker who came to his defense. But they also heard some of the most damaging testimony against Chaney to date. The jury heard today from former KTAB anchor Fran Atkins. But new testimonies in the Chaney trial today could be devastating for the defense.
James Duran just got back from the trial, and he joins us now with the very latest.
That's right. Testimonies today dropped a bomb on the defense. Early morning testimonies painted Chaney as a role model, a father figure, an overall outstanding citizen. But after a lunch, a tidal wave of testimonies came crashing down on the weatherman. This 29-year-old mother of 3 appeared from out of nowhere. She claims to be the teenage runaway who hid from authorities at Chaney's house in 1981. Under oath, she testified that she and her boyfriend used to party with Chaney, smoking pot and drinking wine. She told the jury about finding several pictures of Chaney and naked young boys in his bedroom. She recalled in one of the pictures a young boy performing sexual acts with a vegetable. She also claimed Chaney paid her boyfriend for sex and that she couldn't let Chaney know she was his girlfriend. When Doug Worthington, a counselor at the time of Harmony Family Services, and police came looking for her, she says Chaney forced her to hide under the bed. Another witness, a retired Abilene man, recalled an incident around 15 years ago involving Chaney, 2 young boys, and a movie theater. The man recalls seeing Chaney force the hands of the boys onto his lap. The boys' mother removed them from the theater, and Chaney quickly fled the scene. Defense attorney Painter fought to keep both of these testimonies out of court. Another twist in this case, an investigator for the defense took the stand about an hour ago. He testified that a man strongly resembling Bill Chaney was arrested for child molestation charges in 1980. We'll have more on this later. Closing arguments may be taking place at this moment. Now, this runaway girl that supposedly was hiding out at Chaney's house in the early 80s, she was not subpoenaed by the prosecutor today. She had seen a news report in the morning, witnessed Bill Chaney, she claims, and she just drove into town today and decided to testify.
Goodness.
Interesting.
Sure
Thank you very
is.
much, James.
The State Court of Criminal Appeals today denied all requests made by death row inmate Clifton Charles Russell. Russell was asking the court to grant him a stay of execution, a new attorney, and set aside...
Now, Crystal Wolf, Wayne McCormick, meteorologist Tom Benson, and Gary Strickland. This is K-Texas News 12.
A surprise witness makes shocking new allegations in an Anson courtroom. Hello, thank you for joining us. A woman claiming Chaney harbored her as a runaway 14 years ago saw news coverage of the trial and came forward with shocking allegations.
Veteran weathercaster Bill Chaney is on trial for allegedly fondling and exposing himself to a 13-year-old boy during a camping trip last June. As Chris Davis-Jones reports, it was only one of the surprises in store for those sitting in an Anson courtroom today.
This woman claims she stayed with Bill Chaney for a week and a half during the early 1980s when she ran away from the Abilene girls' home. Stacey Bradford accuses Chaney of having a sexual relationship with her teenage boyfriend, allegedly openly kissing and touching him. Bradford added that Chaney gave her boyfriend money daily. The woman told the Jones County jury she once saw Bill Chaney walk out of a bathroom wearing a towel. Inside, Bradford says her boyfriend was kneeling naked on the floor and crying. Bradford also remembers seeing numerous photographs of Chaney and young boys in various stages of undress. The woman says one picture showed a nude teenage boy with a foreign object inserted in a sexual manner. Chaney later took the stand again and denied these new allegations, saying he's never seen the woman in his life. Then the defense had a surprise witness of its own. Private investigator Wayne Knowles testified he'd learned of a man who lived near where Bradford says Chaney's house was. Knowles told the jury the man had been put on probation for indecency with a child in 1983. The defense introduced into evidence a facsimile of the man that Knowles says bears a resemblance to Chaney.
Based on that new evidence, defense attorney Ed Painter asked the judge if he could have a continuance. The judge denied his request, and the case goes to the jury tomorrow morning. In Anson, Chris Davis-Jones, K-Texas News 12.
In other testimony, former KTAB anchor Fran Atkins was very supportive of her colleague. Atkins described her friend Chaney as a good, solid man and a fine Christian. Referencing his longtime participation in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, she asked the Jones County jury what young person wouldn't have an outstanding big brother in weatherman Bill Chaney. Final arguments begin tomorrow at 9 in the morning. Governor Bush